You know what nobody ever tells new managers? If your team sees you as a joke, it's almost never because you're too nice or you're too young. Believe it or not, it's because you haven't drawn a line between friendly and in charge, at least not in a way that your team can feel. Respect is not a personality type. It's a pattern that people can predict. And if your pattern is soft and fuzzy or all over the place, they're going to test it. Not because they're bad people, because people, myself included, will test edges. So let's set this bold frame. You don't need a louder voice, you don't need a cooler title, or another corporate platitude to get taken seriously. You need 3 moves that create predictable leadership. Set the standard in plain language, signal you mean it with a repeatable follow through, and hold the line without turning into a caricature of a boss. Do that, and the jokes are going to stop fast. Now picture this. You join a meeting that you're leading. People are trickling in late, there's some side chats going on. Someone says, we'll figure it out later. You smile, you try to be chill, because we're cool. We try to be chill. We keep it moving because we don't want to seem like we're one of those bosses. The meeting ends and nothing is actually decided. That's not you being nice. That's you teaching your team that outcomes are optional in your presence. And they're going to believe the lesson that you repeat. So let's take this scenario and try it again. Same meeting, but you open up with, we're here for 20 minutes to decide X. If we can't decide, then I'm going to make the call. That single sentence does 2 things. It names success and it names ownership. You become the person who points to the finish line and decides how we get there. Leaders who get taken seriously put a finish line on the table early and often. Now here's a pattern that's quietly eroding respect. Over-explaining. You assign a task, and then you talk yourself into 5 exceptions, 3 apologies, and a promise to check with leadership before anything moves. What your team hears is, this is optional, and honestly, I'm nervous about my own authority. I can't make the call. So instead, use the simplest deployment script on earth. Who, what, when. Jamie owns the recap. Here's what good looks like. It's a 1-page summary with clear next steps. And it's due Thursday at 3. Then stop talking. Ask one follow-up question. What's unclear? When people can repeat the finish line back to you, they start seeing you as the person who provides clarity under pressure. Now, let's talk about the cool manager. We're cool, but we don't want to be the cool manager because that's a trap. You stayed friends with people that you now manage. So you're allergic to anything that smells a little bit like power, a little bit like a power trip. I get it. But your team doesn't need a buddy. They need a boundary that protects their work. Boundaries aren't walls. They're guardrails. When a former peer starts making jokes about deadlines and when things should be finished, you don't call them out in front of the team. Instead, you reset the standard in private. You say something like, listen, I know we used to laugh about this stuff. The problem now is that I'm responsible for the delivery. So here's the expectation going forward, and I'll support you in meeting it. Now, you're not going to say it exactly like that because, what I say and what you say are going to be different. But saying something similar, firm and human, respect will rise when you mix the warmth and the clarity. Now, there's another respect killer. The apology preface. Preface? Hey, sorry, quick ask. Or, I hate to be that person, but nobody respects the leader who apologizes for leading. Cut the preface. Replace it with context. Hey, quick heads up. We're changing the review flow so we don't lose a day on revisions. Here's the new path. Context will earn buy-ins. Apologies lose authority. Now let's take a second and let's map out this transformation you're going to go through. We're moving from joke to boss with 3 levers. Clarity, consistency, and consequences. Clarity is naming what good looks like. When you don't define success, your team is going to. And it's going to vary by person, by day, by their mood. Clarity sounds like this. Success on this sprint means the API passes these 3 tests and marketing has a draft that they can actually send. It also sounds like we start on time, we end with owners and dates. Every time that you say, here's what success looks like, you're building the muscle that people will respect most. Direction. Now let's talk consistency. Because consistency is what you repeat without drama. You don't have a new management style every Tuesday. If the meeting starts at 9, it starts at 9. If someone shows up at 9:05, you don't stop everything and recap. You capture actions at the end. You ask, what's unclear? You do your one-on-ones when you said you would. You close the loop. You don't ghost. That predictability lowers anxiety and raises trust. People don't need perfection. They need to know what they get when they get you. Now, consequences, they're not punishment. It's simply, this is what happens next when standards aren't met. Most managers avoid this because they don't want conflict. And then conflict multiplies, so they get more of it. Consequences sound like, we missed the deadline and it impacted the launch. Here's how we're going to fix it this week, and here's how we'll prevent it next time. If we repeat this pattern, I'll have to adjust ownership. It's calm, it's direct, no threats, just reality. When people know the next page of the book, they stop trying to rewrite it in the moment. I had this exact situation when I started leading at the airport. I was managing my peers. We had to do cleaning. I now had to be the one check. Listen, I didn't like doing the cleaning. Maybe I didn't do it all the time, but that's not my role now. I had to check other people's cleaning. Yes, it sounds like babysitting, but it was part of the job. So when other supervisors came to me and said, we need to write this person up because they didn't do their cleaning, I stepped back and I said, I need to reset my role. So if it's okay, let me handle this. So I would have an employee sit and I would say, here's the deal. You didn't do your cleaning. And I would get the joking, haha, no problem. I can appreciate why you didn't do it or how you justify it. This is the next step. We've had a conversation. This is not on the books. So the next time the cleaning's not done, we have to document a verbal. Then it goes to a written. Then it goes to a suspension. So what I made very clear to my team, this is not a me problem. Here's what's going to happen. So if the employee kept dodging their cleaning, they knew the process. So now it's not on me. I was very clear. It made my life so much easier. Now, let's get into some real scripts that you can start using tomorrow, even today. When you need to reset a meeting, say something along the lines of, we're shifting how we run these. We'll open with the goal, we're going to move fast through updates, and then we're going to end with owners and dates. I'll keep us on time. If we drift, I'll pull us back. Then do it. Start on time. Park side topics. End with action lines. Owner, outcome, when. Send a 2-line follow-up. Decisions we made, actions we own. Your presence now equals momentum. Now let's say you need to assign work without sounding like a dictator. You own X. Success looks like Y. It's due Z. Then you ask, where could we have an issue or a block? That last question shows partnership without surrendering ownership. You'll hear real obstacles before they derail the work. Now, what happens if someone comes into a meeting late again? Say something along the lines of, listen, I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to protect the team. We're going to tighten our start times. If you're late, I'm not stopping to recap, but I'll send notes at the end. And if this keeps happening, I'm going to have to reassign pieces that depend on your attendance to someone else. So how can we prevent this from repeating? You're warm. You're also clear about what changes if the pattern continues. What about when a teammate tries to triangulate or vent to you like you're still just one of the guys, one of the gals? You're going to say something like, listen, I hear you and I want to help. In this role, I also have to take action. What outcome do you want? And what's a step that we can take now? You've moved from gossip to ownership. Now, I know that there is a fear. hiding under a lot of this. It kind of feels like, if I lead like this, won't I seem harsh? No, you're going to seem safe. People can breathe when they know the rules of the game. The real harshness is ambiguity. It forces your team to guess what matters and then get punished by surprise when they guess wrong. You're swapping the guesswork for clarity. Now, here is a quick diagnostic. If you feel like a joke right now, check these five signals. Signal 1, your asks are padded with apologies or 10 reasons why. Cut the padding. Lead with the outcome. Signal number 2, you crowdsource every decision. Input is great. Indecision drains respect. So set a timer for opinions and then own the call. Signal number 3, you reward heroics over standards. The person who saves the day gets the praise, while the person who followed the plan gets nothing. Flip it. Celebrate the calm operator who prevents the fires. Signal number 4, your follow-through is sporadic. You say, I'll circle back, and then you don't. Stuff like that erodes trust faster than any tough conversation ever could. So close the loops for your team. Even with I don't have an update yet. Check in on Thursday. And signal number 5, you avoid consequences. Once, twice, 3 times. Everyone notices this. The fix isn't public shaming. It's quiet, consistent action. A private reset talk. A tighter deadline with checkpoints. A change in ownership if that's what's needed. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mike, this is great, but I'm fucking brand new. Let me tell you this. Being new is a gift. Because day 1 is your chance to set the tone without a big speech. Just say something similar to this on your first team touchpoint. I'm excited to support us better. My job is to make the work clearer and easier for you to execute. You're going to notice I define success up front. I start and I end on time, and I close loops. If we drift, I'll pull us back. If we're missing something, tell me. We'll move fast and be kind. That's the whole thesis. You just taught them what to expect from a leader like you. Now, we need to tackle credibility with your own boss because your team can smell when you're guessing. You're going to want to book a 15-minute, just a check-in with your boss and ask for explicit alignment. Top 3 outcomes that you want this quarter. Decisions you expect me to own without asking. Where do you want to be looped in? Write this down. Share it with your team. Now you're not guessing, you're channeling. And we can't forget your presence, how you show up in room. Presence isn't volume, it's certainty. Certainty lives in short sentences. Replace, I kind of think maybe we should with, I recommend we do X because of Y. Replace with, I'm not sure if, with, here are 2 options. Here's my pick and why. If you're asked something that you don't know, don't tap dance around it. Say, I don't have the answer yet, but I'll get it to you by the end of the day. And then do it. Every time you close a loop, that's a brick of the foundation of your authority. Now give me a quick second because I want to let you in on something. I am building a place for us, real managers, to get together. No fluff, just what works in real teams. I'm calling it the Better Boss Club, and we're opening the doors very soon. If this episode hits home, sign up for the waitlist in the description to get full access and become a founding member. I want this first wave to be the folks that are ready to lead like pros, not superheroes. Okay, back to the work. You might be wrestling with one stubborn blocker, the fear of being too much. So you anchor yourself with a 2-part check-in before you act. Is this clear and is this kind? If yes and yes, proceed. Clarity without kindness feels cold. Kindness without clarity creates chaos. Respect sits in that overlap. And here is one of the best lessons that I ever learned. When tough conversations pop up, your words matter less than your stance. So when you're having these discussions, make sure you're not attacking the person. You're protecting the standard. Try something like this when performance slips. I'm stepping into leadership here because I want you to succeed. Here's the gap I'm seeing. Here's the support that I can give. Here's what needs to change. When we do that, you're not judging, you're actually coaching. And when conflict flares between 2 teammates, resist the, you 2 figure it out speech. You're both adults. Instead, facilitate. I can sense some tension. I want us back on the same page. What happened from your perspective? Then, what would be better next time? What you're doing, and this might sound belittling, but it's not. You're acting like an adult. You're having adult conversations, and adults respect adults. Now, let's have a word on decision speed. Because if you wait for 100% certainty, you're going to lead from the rear. Use the 80% rule. When you've got most of what you need, make the call and set a checkpoint to adjust. We're going with plan A. We'll review Thursday, and if a pivot is needed, we'll take it. Your team sees that you move and you adjust. Both are markers of serious leadership. Now, here's the part I want you to remember for the next time that you feel like a joke. No one can give you authority that you won't claim. Lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You're going to claim authority by being the calmest, clearest person in the room, and by proving over and over that when you say this matters, you're going to protect it. That is what respect is. Trust plus time. Now, if you want a step-by-step system that makes it easy, grab this right here, the Manager's Playbook. It's everything I wish I had when I started leading teams. It's scripts for hard talks, frameworks for delegation, meeting templates, the works. Links are in the description below. Go get it today. Do not wait to feel ready, because this changes everything. Now get your coffee. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.